Hello there students, how are you doing? Hope you are doing good. In today's video, I am going to teach you the comparative and the superlative. Together, we are going to discover what are the differences between the comparative and the superlative. Are you ready? Let's get started. So, as we said in our class, what do we mean by a comparative? So we said that when we want to compare two things, we use the comparative. Okay? Well, actually, if we want to compare two things, two objects, two people. So at least, well, actually, we need only two things if you want to compare. So the comparative is normally used if you want to compare two things, people, etc. When we use or when we compare using short words, one or two syllables, we add er plus then at the end of the adjective. I think we did it in our class, and we learned how to count syllables in a word. Okay, so for example, when I say happy, so how many syllables? So we have two syllables. For example, good. Good. So it has got one syllable. Okay. When I say intelligent, so intelligent. So the word has got four syllables. Okay. Here, when we compare using short words, so one or two syllables, we add er plus then at the end of the adjective. For example, he is taller than me. So we have to add er and then we complete the sentence. So he is taller than me. The second example we have my car is cheaper than your car. Okay, so I think it's clear. You can see the differences. So the first one it's cheap, and the second one it's expensive. The opposite of cheap is expensive. So if an adjective ends in one vowel plus consonant, so we double the consonant and add er. Okay, so vowels are, I think they are clear. We have got four. Actually, we've got five vowels. So a, e, I, o, u, and the consonants are the rest of the alphabet. Okay, so whenever we have one vowel plus consonant, we double the consonant and add er. So for example, big becomes bigger, hot becomes hotter, thin becomes thinner. You notice thin is the opposite of fat. Here we have fat, fatter. So if an adjective ends with a y, we change it to I and add er. Okay? So for example, happy becomes happier. So as you can see, we have the y. So we drop the y, we add I, and then we complete with er. So happy becomes happier. Funny becomes funnier. Easy becomes easier. Okay? Ugly becomes uglier. So, when we compare two things or people using long words like three or more syllables, we add more plus adjective plus then. Okay, so so can you see the differences? Okay, so when we compare two things or people using long words, three or more syllables, we add more plus adjective. So as we said before, when we compare two objects or two people using a word which has got two syllables or one syllable, we add er. But here, when we have long words, three or more syllables, we add more plus adjective. For example, Yasmin is more beautiful than Nawal. So let's count. Beautiful. So the word has got three syllables. So Yasmin is more beautiful than Nawal. So this book is more interesting. Let's count. Interesting. So three syllables. Okay, then that book. And of course, we have irregular words. So if you still remember, we said we have regular verbs and we have irregular verbs. Okay. As we said in the past, so the irregular verbs change completely and they need to be memorized. Here we have irregular words that change completely. So good becomes better, bad becomes worse, far becomes further, little becomes less, and more becomes much. So if you want to compare three or more things, people, etc., you use the superlative. Okay. So if you still remember, we said the comparative, we compare two things, two people, two objects. And when we use the superlative, we need to have more than three or more than three if we want to use the superlative. Okay. So for example, I'm gonna give you an example. So for example, Yahya is the best student in the class. So here I am comparing Yahya among more like than three students in my class. Okay. So when using short words, one syllable we use or we add the plus the adjective plus est. So for example, red car is the fastest of all. Okay. So as you can see here, if we have the short word, and we're gonna see if we have the long word. So the red car is the fastest of all, or in the group. Dinosaur is the tallest. Okay. So when using long words, three or more syllables, we add the most. Okay. So if we have one or two syllables, we add more plus the adjective. Uh, but here, if when we have like three or more, so we add the most plus the adjective. So example, he is the most intelligent student in the class. Okay. She is the most girl in the world. Okay. And here, of course, we have the irregular words. Okay, in the superlative. So good becomes best, bad becomes worst, far becomes further, little becomes least. Here I'm gonna make it for you clear, my dears. As you can see here, we have like the number of syllables, the adjective, the comparative, and the superlative. So as you can see here, we have one syllable or two syllables. So they are short. So short becomes shorter, the shortest. High, higher, the highest. Cold, colder, the coldest. Simple, simpler, the simplest. Clever, cleverer, the cleverest. Okay? Here we have long adjectives. So here, three syllables or four syllables. So interesting becomes more interesting when we use the comparative, and the superlative most interesting. Beautiful, more beautiful, the most beautiful. Intelligent, more intelligent, the most intelligent. Expensive, more expensive, the most expensive. Dangerous, more dangerous, the most dangerous. I hope that's clear. So thank you so much, my students, for your attention. I hope the lesson was clear for you, my dears. What I would like you please to bear in your mind that comparative, we need to compare two things or two objects. And when we have short words, we add er. When we have long words, we add more plus then plus the adjective. When we use the superlative, we need more than three or four people, okay, or objects, or etc. So, and when we have like the short word, we add more, and when we use the superlative, we add most. Okay. Thank you so much for your attention, and until next time, take care.